Hello everybody, how are you? My name is Thomas Brush. I'm the creator of a game called Pinstripe. Ow! My teeth are sensitive today. I think I'm okay. I'm the creator of a game called Pinstripe. I'm also working on a game called Neversong. Click the link in the description to check out those games. Okay, so today's gonna be a really fun day actually. I got like 10 questions from a high schooler, and he has a project that he's working on, and I thought it would be really cool to share the answers with you guys. Because these questions are things I wish I had asked before even starting indie game development. So let's just jump into his amazing questions, and I'll try and answer as best I can. And hopefully this won't be too long of a video. And this is from Michael. But before we get started, guys, I want to thank Skillshare for sponsoring this video. Skillshare is an online learning community for creatives where millions come together to take the next step in their creative journey for 2020. Now, specifically, if you're curious about deepening your existing passion for game design, it's an incredible place. Whether it's audio design for your games, or 2D illustration, or animation, or Unity, or Unreal, coding, storytelling, marketing management, whatever it is you need to learn about game development, it's on Skillshare. Now, one of my favorite classes is by Rusty Smith, and it just covers Unity basics. Now, the coolest part about this ad read is, hey, what do you have to lose? Just get 2 free months of Skillshare Premium by clicking the link in the description. It's really that easy. And you really can't beat that, guys. Give it a shot, see what happens. Let's make 2020 the year where you become a game dev and release your very first game. Or if you've already done that, congratulations, but let's make it the year where you take game dev to the next level, all on Skillshare. Click the link in the description to get 2 free months of premium membership and explore your creativity. Michael says, hey, my name is Michael, and I'm an aspiring game developer. He's very interested in writing and design. I've been following your channel and projects for a while recently, and he was assigned a career project. As part of the project, we're required to interview someone in the field. Blah, 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 blah. I was hoping you would be willing to answer some questions. So here are the questions. Okay, so the very first question, what is your daily routine? And you know what? Let's see here. I want to make sure. Some of these questions I'm going to do really quick answers. But this one I really, really like. What is your daily routine? I understand that in the nature of game development, every day is a new challenge. Is there a normal daily process? Yes, actually. So my daily routine was established by my dad. He told me, or he taught me basically what it looks like to be an adult and what a normal person should do in their, in an office environment. Basically, taught me all about 8 to 5, taught me how to be consistent with my schedule, not be, addicted to social media while I work, all that good stuff. So thank you, Dad, for teaching me all of that. I also learned my daily routine by working a regular job for 3 years. So I was a graphic designer for 3 years. And so it's really, really hard for me. And by hard, I mean, I always feel guilty if I don't have like a standard schedule. So I start work around 8:30, which, sometimes I start at 8:30 because I'm at the point now in my career where I sometimes sleep in a little bit. So I'll start my day at 8:30. I'll work till 4:30, actually. I'll usually work through lunch, or I'll take like a 20-minute lunch break. And then I'll end the day at 4:30. And I will go down to my gym. I have a gym in my garage, and I work out for an hour in the gym just to blow off steam and get that out of the way. So that's my daily routine. I don't usually get up and get ready for the day, right? Unless I'm doing a video like today. I really don't get dressed for the day. I'll just jump into the office, which my bedroom is like 2 rooms that way, and I'll just jump into the office and get to work, get a cup of coffee, and get to work. All right, so that's my daily routine as an indie game developer. It's nothing special. I love it, though. I love just jumping into the office and making games and drinking coffee and listening to podcasts or live streaming. Okay, so the second question is, how do you manage, and this is a really good one, how do you manage your stress and motivation when working on projects? He says he personally crashes hard after creative highs, and it's difficult to pick himself up after that. So the way that I manage stress is, The way I used to manage stress is after the day, I would get a glass of wine or two. And that's not smart at all. It's just not a good way to be. The way I manage stress now is what I answered in the first question, which is I jump into a weightlifting routine, push myself pretty hard. Some days I don't push myself very hard, and that's it. So I built my gym as almost an extension of the studio because it was that important to my work environment. So my gym downstairs has leg press, squat rack, bench press, dumbbell rack, pull-up bar, pull-down bar, pretty much everything you need to do a full workout. When I hit a creative block, I get really pissed off. I get really frustrated, and it definitely kind of hurts my relationships with people. I will get very frustrated, and I won't stop thinking about work. It's hard for me to stop working, so that's why I go to the gym at 4:30. Because if I want to spend time with my daughter, if I want to spend time with my wife, I'm going to hop into the gym and get all of that creative frustration out, on the bench press or something. And believe it or not, you get all those endorphins. You actually get a little bit of a testosterone rush as well, especially if you're doing squats or deadlifts. And those chemicals, they actually make you feel a little bit better, and you kind of forget about work. All right, number 3, do you encourage a set schedule for indie game project timelines? Yes, I do. This is going to be a quick answer. Absolutely, 100% I do. I also know that you're going to change that schedule in the long run. But it's good to definitely start out with one, and it's good to keep one going, especially if you have a budget or you're working with another studio. Like I'm working with a studio called Serenity Forge. They will tell you that it's very important for us to keep our schedule because there's multiple budgets going on. They have a team of their own that they have to pay. I've got myself, I have to pay a salary. I've got contracted work that I have to pay for. And so when money's involved, you want to be really, really careful with your schedule. Number 4, what personal/technical skills do you believe to be valuable as a game developer? I think I'm only going to speak to the personal skills one, because this one's technical skills. I mean, you guys know, C#, Unity, Unreal, Photoshop, Blender, those kind of things. But personal skills, this is actually one I've been really thinking about lately. I was thinking about it today. What's really important to me. Dedication to solving problems. Being able to stick with a project that you don't really feel a connection to, and maybe you feel bored of an idea that you've come up with as a game developer. Sticking with it is really, really important. And game development is half of it's creative, and then half of it is problem solving. And both of those sides of the equation, it's really easy to burn out. You can get exhausted as a creative person. You can hit a roadblock, or what's the word, a writer's block or a game dev block. And when it comes to development, there are so many things that can go wrong in game development. I've always compared it to building a house of cards. And when that house of cards is teetering and ready to fall, or even if it does fall and it collapses and the game has a ton of bugs in it, or the project is screwed up, all those variables can't frustrate you. So being able to follow through is so important as a game developer. And I've definitely got a lot to learn there with follow through as well. So don't feel bad if you are someone who does struggle with follow through. You learn how to have a thick skin as you continue to make games. 5, this one's important. This one's really important. I wanted to talk about this one. How saturated do you believe game development will become within the next year or two? And how do you stand out? Oh my goodness, it's gonna be really, really saturated this year and next year. That's just my gut feeling. It's gonna be very, 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 very saturated. Now, a lot of the people wonder why it's saturated, right? My guess is it's saturated because it's so easy to learn game development. And in fact, not only is it easy to learn game development, sometimes you don't even have to learn it. Sometimes you can just drag and drop assets that have already been created for you. That doesn't mean that your game is going to be amazing. It probably means that your game is going to be a clone of some other game. But my point is that it's really easy for everybody to make a game. So releasing on, let's say, Steam, it's an S show right now. to launch on Steam. And so you really want to be vigilant. Is that how you say that? Vigilant about what it is you're launching and how it stands out. So your next question was really important, which is, what is the best way to stand out if this market is so saturated? And that's an interesting question, because part of me says it's really important for you to be forward thinking. So think about what's going to be popular. Like if you're totally thinking about the money or the commercial aspects of your game, be forward thinking about what is going to be popular in the markets. So right now, I'm not very good at this because I just make games I want to make. I don't really think about what's commercially viable. But from what I can gather, the games that are commercially viable are the Minecraft type games, right? The ones where you're creative, whether it's Fortnite, Roblox, Minecraft. These games allow the player to be really, really creative. And the reason why these are popular is because streamers are able to continually play these games over and over and over again, and the experience is different. It also allows for user engagement, audience engagement. So being creative as a player, I think that's really, really popular. And in fact, if you choose to not make that part of your game, I don't really know if your chances of being successful are significantly diminished. So allow your player to have creative control in your game. That's one way to stand out. The second way is technologically, is that a word? Technologically thinking about the future. So VR is a good example. It could very well be that VR is the new standard. I have no idea. There's all these new platforms coming out. Epic Games Store. I bet you Steam's going to do something new very soon. That's just my gut. Apple Arcade is another one. Nintendo Switch. There's all these new platforms. So if you want to be successful, always be looking for the next platform and jump on that platform as quick as you can, because these platforms are hungry, right? When they come out, they want to make a big scene. Like Google Stadia really wanted to make a big splash, and it was I think it would have been smart to at least talk to them and see if you're solely focused on money, then Google's your guy, right? So if you want to talk to Google, or if you want to talk to any of these bigger platforms, and getting financial support is important to you, I think thinking about those companies and the ones that are trying to get into the game scene, which is pretty much every big company right now, those are the companies to partner with, at least for now. And again, that solely has to do with money. That doesn't mean being a successful game developer is only about money. But if you're thinking about money, that's my advice. Okay, number 6. I'm going to try and answer this one quickly. Going from purely solo to being part of a team, what do you think are the largest pros of a team, and if any, the largest cons? I can speak really quickly to the largest pro of being part of a team. I've said in past videos, it's lonely to work solo. So we'll put that aside. Mainly being part of a team, actually in the long run, it's going to save you money. So it's really, really important to think about your time as having a price tag, right? So I know that a lot of you work for free right now because you're not getting paid from a publisher or an investor or a Kickstarter campaign. You're literally working for free. But if you want to be forward thinking, if you want to think about the long term, it's really important for you to put a price tag on your time. So sometimes I put a price tag on my time for like $300 an hour, just because, especially if I'm really pissed off and I don't want to work on something, I'll be like, do I really need to spend time on this? Or where can I spend other time or more time working on something that I'm actually good at, that I have a higher value, right? So I spend a lot of my time doing music and art and atmosphere and story. That's where I have my highest value. A team is good because you can find people who are really good at something and give that to them. And even though it might cost you money or maybe a percentage of your revenue, like if you're partnering with somebody and it's 50-50 split, that actually might be better for you because your time is better spent somewhere else. So always putting a price tag on things actually can help you in the long run. It might stress you out at the beginning, but I'm learning this now. It's really helpful to put a price tag on things and get some help. Because your time is better spent on the things you're actually good at. That's what's going to make the game actually have a higher value. All right, number 7. Do you think that becoming a part of corporate game design is worth it? It seems that large companies want very specific skill sets, and it somewhat limits you. It depends on what you want. I want control, so I don't want to be part of a big corporate entity, or at least work for them. Like as an employee, I'm certainly willing to partner with them, but I don't really want to work for anyone else. I like to be working on my own. So yeah, it depends on what you want. If you like one thing, like if you really like making models, then maybe you should go work for Blizzard, because you could be a modeler full time and get a really good salary. All right, number 8. As a writer, you're curious about what your opinion is on story-based games as opposed to the mechanic. So I go back and forth on this. If you have a really good story, then it's more important than your mechanic. If you have a really bad story, then your mechanic is important. Do what you're good at is my quick opinion there. I focus on story, but I've gotten to the place now in my career where I can actually focus on the mechanic as well, with the help of team members or a publisher or someone to maybe offer up their opinion about mechanics, because mechanics is definitely not my forte. Story is. So I focus on story, but it doesn't mean that I'm going to release a game, ship a game that has a really bad mechanic in it, if that makes sense. I'm much more into plumbers than mechanics anyway, like Mario. That was a joke. Man, that sucked. What do you believe is the most fulfilling part of the development cycle? Oh man, starting the game and getting to the point where you know what it is. So like maybe 25% into the game where you know what the game is and you're like really excited about what you've created. The rest is kind of stressful. Starting the game is really stressful because you don't know what you're making, but you need to get something done, especially if it's your full-time job. And then shipping a game is a nightmare. You hate your game at that point. There's tons of bugs in it. You have alpha and beta testing and everybody's kind of crapping on your game. And I'm exaggerating, I think, and then you release your game and then GameSpot gives you a 5 out of 10 review. So, I kind of can't let that one go, can I? And then number 10, the final question. College is a requirement for my family. Yeah, I was about to offer an opinion about that, but I can't. I mean, it's your family. Do you have any suggestion about what aspect of school to focus on? Networking? Or what degrees to work towards? I don't have an opinion because I don't believe in going to school for this kind of stuff. I don't see it as valuable. But if you're forced to go, you're asking, do I have any suggestions about what aspects of school you should focus on? If you asked me, you said, what degrees should I work towards? Get an engineering degree and then become a game developer with that. That's why I'm confused about school, because I only think you should go to school for something you really, really need to go to school for, like engineering or nursing or being a doctor or something. In all seriousness, like if you really want to be a game dev, get a game dev degree. Like that's great. My opinion here is very, very salted, and I'm staying away from offering my opinion here, man. But like I got a degree, so I'm kind of being a hypocrite, because would I trade my degree? Would I be willing to let go of my degree if I could snap my fingers and change the past? I don't know. Part of me wishes I had those 4 years back so I could be building my company at that time. So I don't know, Michael. I wouldn't. Don't listen to me about that. All right, guys, that's everything. Michael, thank you so much for these questions. These were really, really good. Sorry if I was rushing through this, guys. Part of me is looking at my camera and I'm like, that camera's gonna run out of batteries here in like 5 seconds. So I'm trying to get this video in, but I really wanted to answer these questions for Michael as best as I could. Game dev is a really, 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 really weird industry. And so my answers to these questions, Michael, are gonna change in a year's time. It changes so fast. And I know that's not specific to indie game development. There's a lot of industries that change really fast. But indie game development is especially true because the technology changes so fast, and the standards are always changing, and the platforms are changing, and the people who have access, by access I mean how easily available it is to become a game developer. It's always changing. So yeah, just take my words with a grain of salt. Is that the phrase? And yeah, that's everything. Thanks, guys. Subscribe, leave a comment, leave a thumbs up. Support on Patreon. That would really mean a lot. Thanks, guys. Bye.